Lake Conroe today. Well, every day lately. So I just updated the software on my transmitter, and that seems to be good. So let's warm her up. Okay, the steering is connected, the rudder's down, clutch is turned off, AIS is on, VHF is on. Both chart plotters are, well, wait, one is locked. Okay. All right, so let's just go through the scenes once. So that's the, excuse me, the 360 cam, drone shot, head cam, the checkers cam. That's the checkers cam. Now we'll go here. Let's see, right here. And then we've got head cam, 360 cam, and face. And then if we go here, we got chart plotter, chat, and overhead. And then I've got several different versions of chart plotter plus a different camera. So let's go with checkers cam, overhead, and head. And then we'll get ready to go. So these lines, that line's untied. The other front port line is untied. We're going to turn the trolling motor on. Plus I wanted to fix this. That could be a problem later when we're sailing. Trolling motor on. When I bought that trolling motor, I was really hoping I could turn it on from the cockpit. I can control it from the cockpit, but I can't turn it on. So other than that, it's a great trolling motor. Okay, now we're going to disconnect power. And I got a 2200 watt eco flow unit down below. So that's what everything's running on right now. I've been testing that lately, and I can go. I've been going out about 4 hours a day, and when I come back, it's anywhere from 65 to 75% charged. Okay. Now this guy, I always lengthen a little bit, so it's easier to catch when I come in with my pole. Okay. Big gust of wind came up a little while ago. Okay. Forgot to put the dagger board down. There we go. All right. And away we go. Whew. Stream's still working. Been working through a lot of technical bugs to get this system working good. It's very complex. It's not like a guy sitting at a computer or a girl playing a game with one camera. But then again, I kind of like complex solutions, complex problems to solve. This is Water Point Marina and, I don't know, shopping center, I guess. It's not a shopping center, really. It's mostly restaurants. There's probably, I don't know, 15 restaurants in this little place. Those are apartments up there. And one thing that's cool about them, I'll bet they're expensive. Because if you look up there and you can see two porches, the two porches are for one apartment. So, like on the corner right there, you got two sides. You actually got 4 porch windows. I'll bet you those porches are, 500, probably 400 square feet. Huge. Okay, so we'll go out a little ways. Let's pull up the trolling motor, or deploy it. Okay. This is the Freedom Boat Club here. Yesterday, almost every boat was out. Probably happen again today. There's a big school of small fish, bait fish. Let's put that on. Okay. So what I typically do is I go around the corner here, and then I just anchor the boat with the trolling motor to get my fishing setup going. We'll just anchor right here. Okay, this goes around my neck. Then I tighten it up just a little bit so it's not hanging way down. Okay. All right, so now this pole here, got a chunk of bacon and a fish tail. Oh, I gotta get a wrench. I gotta get a wrench before I even try to put that pole in there. I had yesterday it loosened up, I think. Okay, put that up here. Okay, so this is just an old, crappy Walmart pole with an old spin cast reel that's actually broken. I got it held together with tie wraps. So, and this is a cheap ass mount for the pole. And if I got a big fish on there, I could lose the whole thing. And if I do, it's no big deal. Okay, now let's get ready. Get this guy ready. This one we got a hot dog and some beef jerky. I'm trolling for catfish, obviously, or maybe not so obvious, but okay. All right, now what I do usually is just get that ready like that, and then we'll take the trolling motor off a lock, and we'll turn the prop on, about 3, and then I want to get some motion before I start putting this line out very deep. So if you click that location link, you'll get to see where I am on Lake Conroe and follow along on the journey. I'll be out about 4 hours today. Something weird about this thing, like I'm not moving like I should be. So let's go up to 4. I guess I am moving pretty decent. I got a snag here last night, right along the dock here. Must have been a body or something. And I actually turned the boat around and got my snag out. Okay, so now we'll clip our tether on. This tethers the line to the weighted, to the 5-pound weight. Okay, we got that loose. Now we'll start dropping. Let's go to this scene here. And you should be able to see me dropping the ball. Oh wait, I gotta turn the transducer towards the aft starboard side. There's the ball up there right at 6 feet. Now you can see it go down. I'm going to go down to about 8, maybe, right there. And hope I don't get another snag like I did last night. One thing that was cool about it is as soon as I got the snag, I reversed the boat, or turned it around using the trolling motor, and let some line out while I was turning, and then I turned around and I started going back towards the snag because I was either going to cut the line as short as possible, or either that, or I was going to possibly remote chance get it unsnagged. And son of a gun, if it didn't unsnag, it must have been hooked on a piece of metal, because as soon as I got past the snag, poop, it popped right off. Well, if it was in wood, it would have never done that, right? Okay, now this one, I'm going to let a little bit more line out. I got a 1 ounce weight on that line. Now, the other day I caught a really nice, well, maybe a 5-6 pound blue catfish. That's nice for me. Ooh, this coffee cup right here, Contigo from Target. Man, it keeps that coffee hot all for about 4 hours at least. So the wind is pulling me a little off. We're at 8 feet. The water's 14 feet deep. I don't want to go too deep because I know there's stuff down there. So there was a big ass boat here. No, there it is right there. It's back. So that great big houseboat right there was actually out last night. I've never seen any of these liveaboards out here leave the dock, but that one was out last night. Okay, that line looks good. This one looks good. It's vibrating like crazy though. That's okay. Okay. Anybody in chat? Nope. So it was probably about 8:15 that I left the dock. I'm not sure, roughly. Which is, I got up at 7, I was gone by 8:15, and I had to update software on my live view transmitter here. Make sure it's still transmitting, it is. I like to go closer to that dock. This is just about where I got the snag. No, not there. Okay, we're in 15 feet of water now. I'm just going to go down a foot at least. Ooh, look at those fish coming right there. Okay, I'll go out for about 4 hours and then I'm going to head home. We're going to cook hot pot, like Asian hot pot for supper. And I've got some catfish that we're going to put in it. Oh, it's a beautiful day. Not too sunny. It's kind of overcast. Sun will poke through sometimes. And then the wind is calm right now. It's probably about 3 knots or so. And I didn't even look at the weather. It's getting to the point where I don't care much what the weather is unless it's something like big storm coming. I used to be a little bit afraid of the wind almost. Like if it gets up to about 15 knots, I definitely don't want to be sailing because my skills aren't good enough. But even docking and this lake, there's like a wood or rock wall around almost the entire lake. The only thing that doesn't have the wall is up north on the north end of the lake, which I can't even get to because there's a bridge. And at any given time, every once in a while throughout the day, I'll just count all the boats I can see. Like right now, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 only. But, if you get past about 9 o'clock in the morning and you're out in the bay or the bigger area, you'll almost always see 15 to 20 boats. And there's a lot of big boats, a lot of wakeboarding is really popular, probably is everywhere, but it's like being in a bathtub. Though there's so many boats making so many wakes, and they're hitting these walls, and then they're bouncing back, and so this is a really wavy lake. It's not horrible or anything, it's just more wavy than most. In fact, I put Grok to work, Grok AI to work on a deep search to figure out how many boats were on this lake. And Grok came up with about 4,000. And then you probably could add a couple hundred for trailered in boats that particular day. I'll bet a couple hundred would probably be about right. Because I know every boat landing I see, it's all loaded up with a whole bunch of empty trailers and trucks. So I got to figure out how to get that to stop repeating. I might be on Facebook this morning for the first time. It's possible. I set it up last night, but I don't know if it's working. I didn't test it. Checkers. Okay, I'm gonna put the checkers gate up. I got his water dish out here. Yesterday he didn't drink any water. The day before he drank 2 dishes full. I guess it probably has to do with how much he drank before. Okay, we're going 1 mile an hour. Should be going a little slower actually. So we're on 4. Let's take it down to 3. And we're 6 feet off the bottom. I know I'd do better if I ran the bottom closer with my rigs, but that's okay. I don't care for snags, and maybe I'll get to learn where to go. Like for example, just about where the boat's headed right now. Like for that point on the starboard side, on the right side. I ran close to those no-wake buoys up there and ended up getting a snag about a week ago. That time I did lose my lure and some line. So what I usually do is, once I get close to the end of this floating dock, I don't want to go anywhere near those buoys, so I just kind of turn out to the middle of the channel here. And we could let a little more line out. We're at 17 feet now. Let's go down to 11, or actually we're at 12. Okay. And we can probably let a little bit more line out with this guy. Wish I had line with depths marked on it. And I got this nice, this is 40-pound test. I don't even remember what it's called, but I wanted the orange so I could see my lines better. But I wonder if I could paint different colors on that line, if it would actually stay on it. Probably not. So I can tell my depth on my downrigger, but I can't tell depth on the, because I can see it in my live scope. So right now my live scope, let's put that view on. Okay. So that's the live scope, Garmin live scope, and it's on a GPS map transducer right here. Not transducer, chart plotter. And then I've got it mounted. I've got a PVC pipe inside of another PVC pipe so that I can turn this. So if you look at the screen, when I turn it, the ball disappears. That's because it's only a 5-inch wide view window. So I'm looking, right now it's 5 inches wide, it's going from the bottom of this pole, and it's headed off to the side, and it's looking at my ball that's down here on the starboard side of the boat. So it's fairly close to looking sideways right now, maybe a little bit back. And that's why the ball is showing 6 feet, because it's 6 feet from where the transducer is right here to where the ball is out there. So I'm basically looking to the side just about, maybe a little bit angled back. And so the fish that we see are actually going front to back mostly. And so basically the hook is not to the right of the ball on the screen. It's not to the right of the ball like you might think it would be behind the ball because we're going forward. But actually the hook is towards us. And I've never really been able to see my hook, but let me just turn this once. So the hook is going to be behind that ball. So as I turn it this way, I don't see the hook. And I called Garmin about that because I was trying to be able to see the hook. And they said it's the live scope, even though some people can get their hook on the line, or excuse me, on the screen sometimes, it wasn't designed for that. So anyway, all I have is a hook with some meat on it and no reflector. Even the sinker's pretty small. So we're not going to see the hook. So this is very relaxing. I retired a year ago, or a little over a year ago. Man, time flies. So I don't think about work anymore. I know that I'll bet you, like when I was working, if I would be out here like this, I'd have to kind of fight at it to keep it out of my mind. And the way I would do that is I would say to myself, all right, work, you're on my time now, so go away. This is Rob's time, not work time. And try to get it out of my head. But I had a manager role, pretty challenging one. It was not easy to be successful. It was very difficult to be successful in my mind. For me to accomplish what I want to. Anyway, so the stress came from me not meeting, at times, not meeting my own expectations for the department I managed. So anyway, the wind is picking up, and it's funny how this, when you don't have a sail up, this boat tries to turn into the wind. So I've got the steering. Hello, Aaron. All right, Aaron, I'll look you up. Are you selling something, or you just really want to just get to be friends? Either way is fine, but just curious. In other words, are you a bot right now, or are you really there, Aaron? I suspect not. Okay, so let's drop the line. We're in 20 feet of water. So let's drop the line from 12 feet. I don't want to go too much more. I usually stay about 10 feet off the bottom. And I did get a snag up here not too long ago. So, okay, so Aaron must have been a bot. I got to figure out, I got to have an admin eventually, but I also got to figure out how to recognize and delete those bot comments. Because I don't see those on other streamers' channels. I usually get 2 or 3 a day over about a 4-hour period. Okay. When I'm in the wind, I want to step this power up a little bit on the trolling motor. Wind's coming out of the south. So when I'm going this slow, it'll probably start drifting me, it usually does, drifting me over to the port side of the channel. Okay. There's a big fish. I think it was a big fish, not a group of fish. So what's happening, again, my live scope is almost sideways right now. So most of the fish that you're seeing are moving under the boat, and they're moving through that 5-inch window. That's why you see them. You see that big group of bait fish. You see it for a little while, and then it's going to just disappear. Yeah. Well, I don't need this motor running. What am I doing? Goofball? Goofy. Let's go to the cameras for a while. There's Checkers. That's the Checkers cam. Checkers cam is a Sony 3000X. And I have that connected. Actually, the batteries, something was different about it this morning. It's got a USB cable coming out of the back for power. I know why that's happening. I just thought of something. I've got the USB for this thing plugged in down here into a USB socket, but the way this thing was designed, it was supposed to have been plugged in up here. Let's see if that battery charges now. So anyway, I had the USB power cable for this camera. I had it plugged into just an outlet down here in the bottom. I got 2 power strips down there. And when I started it up this morning, it said USB, and it had 2 arrows like going in a circle. And the battery was fully charged on the camera. And I've never seen that before, so I unplugged it. So we've been running that camera all this while, the Checkers cam, on the camera's battery. But the way it was designed, it was supposed to have been plugged in when I got it. It was part of a backpack, an IRL backpack, in real life streaming backpack. And it's got the live view, which is this. Let me see. Let me change this camera a little bit. There we go. So here's the live view, and here's the battery. Here's the cable going up to the camera. So hopefully the battery on the camera is charging. It's already down about 25%, it looks like. I can barely see the little thing. What's going on here? Okay, I lost my restream chat somehow. Okay. There we go. So the way I have this, let's go back, let's stick with the camera for a while. So right now, hopefully it's charging. So this battery came with the backpack, and the output voltage of it is designed, has a port here that is the correct voltage for that live view. And I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's specific. It's something like 9 volts or 8 volts. You know, a lot of things will run on anywhere from, 5 volts DC up to maybe 12 volts DC. But this one was really specific. So I've tried to power that live view from a USB cord, and it doesn't work. It has to be plugged into that battery or another device that gives us that voltage. So, but then it dawned on me just a couple minutes ago that this camera was designed to be plugged into that battery, not a USB outlet. Oop, we lost our... Okay, we're at 22 feet and our hook is at 12, so we'll go a little more down. So I unhook the drag on the reel, and then I release the brake, and I use my finger to slow the descent of the ball. So 22, let's go to 14. That'll be 8 feet off the bottom. So we're looking at that. 21.8 feet of water, and we're at 14 feet. The 5-pound weight that my line is connected to is that ball that's located 6 feet from the transducer and 14 feet down. Okay, so we can probably let a little more line out on this guy again, and I never know where I'm at. Okay. So what I'll do, and what I usually do, because the wind is almost always coming out of the south, southeast, southwest. Today it's a little bit southwest. But anyway, I troll with the trolling motor typically, unless the wind is too strong, and then I use the big motor. And I troll my way all the way over by the dam, which is the southern end of the lake. And that's the deepest part of the lake. It gets to about 50 feet all around in front of that dam. And so we'll troll, take our time, and once we get over by the dam, by then the wind will be picking up more, and we'll do a turn, and then I'll shut the trolling motor off, and I'll put the jib sail out. Depending on how much wind, I'll put it out anywhere from like a third of the way to full. And then we'll let the sail move the boat for trolling. Now let me describe my streaming setup here. So I've already talked about the Sony 3000X camera, which is on checkers right now. Let's go there. Oops. Okay. So that's the checkers cam, the Sony. The overhead is coming from a Insta360 360 camera, and I got it on a 9-foot invisible selfie stick. So, and what you can see there is my solar panels, which are charging the batteries down below. Not much today, but normally. You can see my Starlink satellite dish and a bunch of other stuff. You can see the flags are replacing a $1,500 wind instrument that I'd like to have someday. So that the flags are telling me which way the wind's going for when I'm sailing. Now, the next, that's a 360 camera, and that camera is Wi-Fi'd to my Apple phone. And then the Apple phone has an HDMI adapter in it, which has 3 ports. It has standard USB, and then it's got USB-C, and then it's got an HDMI port. So it's converting the screenshot coming from the camera, screenshot on the phone, it's converting it to HDMI, and then the HDMI cable is going to my YOLO box switcher, which is this device right here. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4 HDMI inputs. Here's the HDMI output, which is the stream. And then this is a USB camera that I have mounted up here, which I'll show that one as well. And then the other cool thing is with those HDMI adapters, ooh, these are big Texas wasps, and they bite like a bugger. Just flew right by me. I don't know if you could see it on the camera or not, but they're massive wasps. And they don't bite very often. They're pretty tolerant. But I got bit by one once, and holy crap. So, not bit, but stung. So anyway, back to the devices. So the HDMI cable goes from the HDMI adapter to the YOLO box input. And then the USB-C port has a cable going to my power on my power strip. And so that phone is being charged constantly. So I can stream all day long and never lose my battery on the phone. Now, over here, I have an Android phone right here. And the reason for that is I can also control, like what I'm doing on my YOLO box screen right here. When I'm switching views and everything, I can also do that from a phone. But it only works on Android. So that's why I have that Android phone originally. But now I've got this set up because I built this whole box here so that I can switch views myself and really easy. But the other cool thing is, and I tested this once on Patreon, but I don't have not sure the link is working anymore. I got to fix that. But the audience, if you're a Patreon supporter, you can actually control this stream. So you could control it like an admin, or you could control it for fun. Now, if we got a lot of viewers someday, and you're jumping around camera to camera worse than I do, maybe we'll irritate some people. So we'll see. We'll cross that bridge if it ever comes. Now, on that Android, not only can I control the stream from it, but that's where my head cam is Wi-Fi'd to. So this camera is Wi-Fi'd to that Android phone, just like the Apple was with the 360 cam. And it's got an HDMI adapter. It's right here. It's this white thing here. And then it's got a HDMI cable connected to it and goes to an input here. And also the USB-C charge cable. So that phone is charging also. Now over on the laptop, I have the laptop is Wi-Fi'd to the Garmin EcoMap. And that's the same thing. I got a USB adapter, so the iPad is getting charged right now. And it also has, I've set it up on split screen so that I can monitor chat with my eyes. And if I have to have it on the split screen there because I just don't have a fourth device to put Restream chat on. I do have a laptop down below that's running right now, and I have Restream up on that as well. And you know what? I think I left the screen on. So that's going to suck way too much power. So let's go take care of that problem. I also want to make sure it's Bluetooth to my headset. Oh no, I did it right. Okay. I'm better than I thought I was. If I get a chance to put that life jacket on Checkers, I will. But he's got to be standing up. By the way, if I try to get my hands under his belly and tighten that, put the clips for that life jacket, last time he growled at me. Okay, so now we talked about the laptop and the GPS map, live scope. And we're at 15 feet and the water's 25, so that's good enough for now. Quite a few fish down there right now. Okay, so then the next part of the setup is the YOLO, or is the live view, which is basically that's what's transmitting the stream. And the live view has 4 modems. 2 are Verizon, one's AT&T, and one is, and I have trouble remembering this every time, T-Mobile. Huh. Wow. So it's got 4 modems, and it's splitting the signal between those 4 modems, but it's also connected to my satellite dish, my Starlink. So basically, this transmission, this stream, is 7,257 kilobytes per second, and it's splitting those kilobytes or bandwidth or whatever you want to call it across all 5 of those devices. So each modem here is only handling about 1,000 kilobytes per second. Now here in Conroe, Texas, I don't need this. I could be transmitting just on the Starlink, or maybe a single modem, cellular modem. But the reason I got this set up is because my ultimate goal is to travel the Great Loop, which is a 6,500 mile trip, take a year, and I'll be in bad cell signal a lot. So hopefully this gives me continuous streaming service. And then for the live view, there's a battery that powers it. And then the battery's plugged into the power strip, so the battery's charging all the time. There's a battery in the live view also, so that's being charged by the other battery, and then that battery's being charged by the power strip. And then the power strip, I've got connected, I routed a cord up so that I could plug this whole box in. So this is the cord coming out of the box. There's 2 power strips in there connected in series, and so this is actually everything in here is being powered by the 2200 watt EcoFlow power station down below, and that has an inverter. So it's going from 12 volts to 120 volts up here at 120 volts, and then down to whatever the USB plugs put out, and I think it's 12 volts, but it might vary 5 to 12, or not vary, but whatever. It's 12 volts. So and that 2200 watt station is being charged by the solar panels. Now I also have my refrigerator plugged into that right now, so the refrigerator's running off the inverter also. The refrigerator has a 12 volt power cord also, but that's not working. I keep forgetting to call the fridge company. I'm probably out of warranty by now, and help me troubleshoot the 12 volt side of that refrigerator, because I can plug the 12 volt cord into the power station also, and it won't be running on the inverter, which will save like save power. Okay, we're at about 14 feet and our water is approaching 30, so let's drop down again. I'll go down to about 20, about 19 or so. Both lines look good. We're going 0.8 miles an hour, that's good. Okay. Ooh, that's still super hot. If you click that location link, it'll take you to Nebo tracker, so you'll be able to see where I'm at. So there's a big power boat up there. Wonder what kind of engines those have. It's got to be some kind of a big Hemi, or maybe twin. But they're throaty. Sounds cool. But he's got to be burning an enormous amount of fuel. And it's fun to go fast every once in a while, but I don't know. I don't think I would, even if I had a lot of money, I don't think I would buy one of those. I want a practical boat that can be used for things like sailing, fishing, doing the Great Loop. The reason I picked this boat is because I was planning on doing the loop. Originally, my wife wanted to do the loop, and then, I don't know, she kind of lost interest, but so I kept thinking about it and researching it, and so I decided I wanted to do it, and by then she wasn't going to be coming. Actually, our original thought was before the loop even, or no, loop was included in that, was to buy a catamaran, a sailing catamaran, and it's funny. So there was one for sale, and we had just sold our house, so we had some money we could buy it actually, almost cash, and so we went to look at it, and our thought was we would buy this fairly big catamaran. I think it was about a 40-footer, and we would live on it until my wife retired, and then we'd take it. Then we'd take that on the Great Loop, but our daughter was about 16 at the time, or maybe 15 even. So she was going to be around for a while yet, and so the three of us went to look at the boat, and we get on the boat, and the guy is showing me around, and I come back to the salon area, and there's my daughter sitting on my wife's lap, and she's crying, and I said, "What's the matter?" She said, "I have anxiety on the boat." So that was the end of that. So that's when I started still thinking about going on the loop, but and it just transformed into I'm going by myself. So when that decision happened and I started looking for boats, I actually found the MacGregor somehow, videos probably on YouTube, and let's check our lines. That one looks okay. This one's still good. When the line is going almost straight down here, or maybe a little bit back, that means it's still tethered to the ball. If I get a bite, it pulls that line out of the tether, and then you'll see it go way back there. So that's how you know you got a fish. So I started looking at these MacGregors, and the reason they appealed to me is because I really did want to learn how to sail. But for the loop, you can't sail probably more than 20% anyway. So I needed a power boat as well. So this is, there's a few boats like this, other brands, but not very many. It's actually not an ideal boat for anything. This thing is more of a versatile boat. And so I've got a 60 horse Mercury on here, which is called a Bigfoot. It's got a larger lower end. I think it's got a 90 horse lower unit on a 60 horse motor, which gives it's more beefy, a little heavier, which isn't good, but it gives it a lot of low end torque. And I have this boat loaded heavy. It's right at the max weight. And I didn't really buy that motor for that reason. I bought the motor because it was the only Mercury I could find. It was right after COVID, or a year or so after COVID, and shit, you couldn't get outboard motors. And I called a whole bunch of Mercury dealers, and I found one that had 2 of them on order, and they just happened to be coming in soon. So I snagged this one. So when this boat is empty, that motor will push me about 19 miles an hour. When I have the ballast out of it, it'll go about 13 or 14 miles an hour. But right now I've got the ballast in it, which is 1,500 pounds. And so it'll only go about 9 miles an hour, full throttle right now. This boat has a dagger board that goes straight up and straight down. There's another model of the MacGregor that has a swing keel that it swings back up. I kind of like that better because if you ever hit something, it swings up, Instead of, if I hit something, I destroy the fiberglass dagger board. Because you can raise and lower the dagger board, and you can raise and lower the rudders. The rudders are in the back here. Because those can be raised and lowered, I can run this boat in about 12 inches of water. Maybe not right now when I'm fully loaded. Maybe it's somewhere up closer to 18, but that's still. Are you a bot or are you a person? So that's my second spam of the day, because I don't think there's anybody there. So anyway, I can beach this boat, which is a bit of an advantage on the loop because especially if you have a dog to go potty, I can beach the boat. I can also beach the boat to go ashore. I can beach the boat at night, assuming there's no tide or current. So that's just it's more versatile, right? Most of the boats on the loop that do the Great Loop, most of them are trawlers, twin engine trawlers, 36 foot, 40 foot, over 50, up to 50 feet probably. You can't, they've got about a 3 to 4 foot draft. Some people use sailboats, standard sailboats with a keel, and they're anywhere from 4 to 5 foot draft. I'm a 4.5 foot draft with my dagger board down. So anyway, I wanted that ability to beach it, and then I wanted to be able to sail, but I need some speed too. So my normal cruising speed, where I can make some time but also save some fuel, is about 7 miles an hour. So that'll probably be my sweet spot when I'm on the loop. And most people with the bigger boats, if they can afford the fuel, they'll run them at about 10 knots. And they'll go 50, 60 miles a day. So, what else about this boat? So, when I started looking for MacGregors, there was a couple of them, or one for sale in Houston here, and I kept calling the guy to go look at it because I kind of just wanted to, whether he was going to buy it or not, I wanted to look at the boat at one because I had never seen one up close. And he kept breaking appointments, and so finally I never did look at it. So I started stretching out a little bit, looking on Craigslist, and it just so happened that my son was considering moving north, back where we come from, back in upper Michigan or Wisconsin was most likely where he was going to go. So I thought, okay, I'll load up all his stuff in my diesel truck, and I'll bring him up there, but I'm going to look for boats all along the way. So I started, with the circle on Craigslist, I started looking for boats all the way up between here and Wisconsin, and son of a gun, I found a few. But I found this one in Superior, Wisconsin, and the ad said, MacGregor 26M 2008, brand new. What? And then I thought, well, that's got to be a scam. Ooh, hold on. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing? What? Oh, yeah. Huh. Huh.
Anyway, yours did the same thing.
No, but I don't bruise easy, But it didn't do the same thing. But it hurt. It hurt way up into my bicep and then down below my elbow also. And he said, I believe he told me that that's the weak muscle hurting also. You bruise the tendon, but the muscle that's weak is the one that hurts. In fact, when he told me to do that weight exercise, he said it's going to hurt, and it's okay. You're not making it worse.
Because I don't seem to have any issue doing that exercise. I mean, it's sore, but I see either that or we're just recovering quicker than you.
Yeah.
Which is unusual, but could possibly be. But
right.
It would be unusual. So I'm going to try to work for about, so I was going to tell you, I'm probably not going to start dinner until later in the day, maybe even not till 3 o'clock.
Okay.
Because Corey's going out for the day again today. Probably 4 hours before I do my laundry, and then I spend 4 or 5 hours, and then I won't start preparing, so I'll clean the kitchen before I prepare for the hot pot.
Okay.
And then, assuming I should probably clear off the table, although I don't know what to do with everything that's over there, but.
Well, yeah. Like I could stand and eat at the counter, so maybe you don't have to clean it off completely. You can make room for 3 people, one on the end, either way. So whatever you want to do.
There's probably room. There's room to make. There is room to make room. It's just a matter of.
Yeah.
That's about the only thing that needs to be done, and then Mary was like, "Oh, I used up all the." She used up one of the carrots and something she made for her supper last night. And she's like, there's only 1 carrot left. And I'm like, but I was like, that's okay. I would rather use up the food than,
yeah.
in the hot pot and eat one. And I think we will. I mean, we've got only 1 package of noodles and packages, but I figure we could cut up, maybe we could even cut up some of the squash and use it in the soup.
Yeah, probably could.
I don't know how to do that. I mean, I don't know.
The squash that would be better for that is the rambutan, which I've eaten all up already.
Of course you have. Couldn't.
I had some yesterday here.
But, and probably should plug in that bed, and I should try and sleep in that bed tonight. Just because I don't want to have a night of terrors, just in case the boogies come out. You know, I'm leaving the light on all night, and that seems to keep them at bay. It's the difference between coming out and maybe killing 4 or 5 bugs, you know?
Yeah.
But Mary threw away the traps last night, and she was like, "Oh my God, these are so full! Like we've never thrown away as many full ones as we did." That she replaced yesterday.
Okay.
It's just interesting. It's just one of those things, I guess, you know, that you just kind of go, "Wow, this is just, you know."
Yeah.
But it's good. I think if I only had one thing that I would enjoy tonight would be, I don't even know if they have it, but having, you know, maybe some corn, you know.
I could probably stop on the way home.
But I don't know that it's really necessary. It's something that sounds good. Okay. Oh, let me go get my coffee. You know what I do? Do you have any canned air anywhere?
Any what?
Canned air.
Canned air?
Yeah, you know, for cleaning out computers.
No, I don't think so.
Because I got to clean out the inside of my computer. It's bad. Second. Hey, Corey, I think you left your phone in the kitchen. You left your phone in the kitchen. Hey, there's a phone in the kitchen. I think it's and I was like, I knew it wasn't mine, and your dad's not here. He's got the old man phone that's as big as his head. It shouldn't be too bad to clean off the.
somewhere. That line looks good. I have to lower this 360 camera because I was using my phone. My wife called, and when you disconnect the phone, when you use the phone, it disconnects the Wi-Fi to the camera. So I have to restart the camera, and then it shuts off fairly quickly. So, well, there we go. Join. Connect now. Okay. Then we'll shoot it back up. There we go. And we'll give it a spin. And let's check this line, still looks good. We're going 1.2 miles an hour. I've got 3 catfish in a freshwater drum, all filleted and in the refrigerator for dinner tonight. We're gonna have that Korean hot pot, and I'll probably fry some of the fish up too so people can try that, but then we're gonna put some of it in the hot pot soup. Maybe with a cheesecloth so it doesn't just completely fall apart in there. Okay, we're still transmitting. Nobody's in chat. All right, so I was talking about the boat. There's more to tell. So when I got it, remember the ad said brand new. So I kind of ignored that one and kept looking, and then I came across it again, and I look at it, and then I press the contact thing, and there's a phone number. So I text the guy, and I said, hi, my name is Rob. I'm down in Texas. I'm looking for a MacGregor 26M. And is this thing, how is this thing, is this thing really brand new? And he said, yes. The guy who bought it, he was selling it for a friend of for a family, and the guy that bought it got sick shortly after he bought it. So he bought it in 2008. It sat in a warehouse or the garage with the mast down for 14 years, never put in the water. And so all of the rigging was in bags still, like you'd get it from a brand new boat. And then, I had him send me some more pictures other than the ones on Craigslist. And the guy was a doctor, so I don't trust medical. Well, I'm not going to go there. Anyway, he was a doctor, and so I started believing him that it was really new, and so I talked to my wife, and I decided to go up and get it, and sure enough, it was brand new. So inside, it had a small sink and a little alcohol burning stove on the small cabinet with a stove and a sink. And then it had cushions everywhere. So it was designed to sleep 6, but it would have to be me and 5 girlfriends if I was going to sleep 6 in there. It could sleep a family. It could sleep a family of 6 if you had 4 kids and say 2 or 3 of them could sleep on the same bed. Then I could see it happening. So anyway, then I started modifying the boat, and I love projects anyway, and I I love designing things, which I'm not that good at, because about everything I designed on this boat, I had to redo it twice. So my daughter said I couldn't bring Checkers when Checkers was younger. He was still a pup. I couldn't bring Checkers to the boat unless I put this netting up. So that was one of the mods I did. I put the netting up. And then I wanted to put a trolling motor on this boat because I wanted to fish, but doing the Great Loop, I also wanted a bow thruster so that I could move my bow back and forth to help with docking when it's really windy. Now, I'm not really sure I'm going to use it for that because, you know, it's kind of in the way up there and if you're docking in high wind. Yeah, it'd be nice to have some help with the bow, but you can also wipe out the trolling motor pretty easily. So I bought this trolling motor, and so then I designed a nose cone, kind of, which is a triangular piece of steel plate. I was thinking about using aluminum, but it was so expensive to buy 1/4 inch aluminum plate. Unbelievable. So anyway, I made it out of steel because I wanted it strong anyway, and I wasn't quite sure that that the aluminum, for the way I was designing this thing, was going to hold up anyway. So there's a piece of flat plate in a triangle shape up on the bow. So I took the anchor roller bracket off, and I took the stanchions off, or not the stanchions, but the cleats. And so the cleats there's 2 cleats with 2 bolts, and then the anchor roller bracket that the anchor sits in had 3 bolts. There are actually 2, but you could put 3 in. And I could not get a trolling motor with a long enough shaft to actually work on my boat because my boat's much higher than a normal fishing boat. So off of that triangle bracket, I put a piece of plate coming down and another piece of plate coming out, so it's almost like a shelf, and it drops the mounting of the motor down about 8 inches. And so then I can, if I'm in heavy waves or a boat goes by and wakes me, I can hear that motor coming out of the water, but normally it's about 1 foot under the water, which is about right. But I also wanted 2 anchors for the trip. Oh, what happened here? We lost the camera. Photo? What's that? Okay. Battery's still gone. Camera's still on. So when you press the start button, you must take a picture. I pressed the start button because I thought the camera was probably off or the battery was dead, so that's not it. So let's go to my streaming group, and there's the Digicamera. Click OK. Go over here, now it's searching for it. So it dropped off for some reason. Come on, baby. There it is. Good. Okay. We're back on. And when I design stuff, I always try to have like 2 or 3 different functions for whatever I'm doing. So the main reason for building this whole bracket up on the nose was to mount the trolling motor and mount it over the side lower so that the propeller shaft could reach the water, or it'll be well under the water. So I built all of that. I put a little gusset on it. But then over on the other side of that triangle plate, I thought, well, that'd be a good place. Why don't I design a way to store the anchors over there? Because I've got a 40-pound trolling motor? Or is it? It's got 80-pound thrust, but I think it weighs about 40 pounds. and that's over on the port side of the boat, which is, I knew that I could bolt that plate down solid on the front of the boat, but I didn't want any kind of twisting action going on. So on the right side of the bracket, I put 2 pieces of plate coming out, and I had I have a notch burnt into that, so that I can actually put the anchor down in that bracket and store both anchors on the starboard side of that bracket. And I can even get it in and out with the chain on, with the chain connected to the anchor. So it's a place to store the anchors, but it's also a counterbalance for the weight of the trolling motor. So when I went to put the bracket on, I used 4200 sealing compound under the bracket. There's also this 4200 sealing component, what is that? Not component, compound under the bracket. So the bracket is glued down, but the 4200 doesn't get super hard. It's more like not pliable rubber, but it can be scraped off. If you use the same 5200 marine material, it gets hard as a rock and you got to grind it off. So I used the 4200, so it's acting like a solid, good solid, but a cushion on the fiberglass also. So the plate is not on the fiberglass. And then I drilled holes in the plate, which was really hard to do to get them to match. Because if you have a solid plate over the top and the holes are underneath that plate in the hull or in the fiberglass, how are you gonna match them up? You can't just measure and hope for it. I had to get it right. I didn't want a bunch of holes. I didn't want that plate to look like Swiss cheese. I didn't want water going through any holes, any extra holes. So I built a template, and I went up underneath the boat and I stuck a pencil up, and then I took a second template and I put it on there, and then I went underneath with spray paint and sprayed up through the holes, and then I matched up the 2 templates, and they were a little bit off, so I kind of split the difference on a couple holes, and then I used that template to mark the plate to drill the holes. So I drill the holes and I go to put the plate on, and son of a gun, they match up perfect. And I wanted those holes. I don't want a bunch of slop in them, because I don't want water leaking through the bolt holes. So I had them nice and snug. I had 3/8 bolts, and I used the 3/8 drill. Maybe I just wiggled the drill a little bit to get a little bit of slop in them. Anyway, they're nice snug fit on the bolts. And so then, now, so there's 11 holes. I also have a second, one of my anchors is a 22 pounder, which is the 15 pounder is what came with the boat. So it's a bigger anchor. And so I bought a longer stainless steel anchor roller. It was an aftermarket part for this boat. So I ended up with 2 anchor rollers. And so I didn't mount both of them. I ended up only mounting one of them. But I drilled the holes for both of them. The longer one mounts on the left side of the center of the boat, and the shorter original one mounts on the right side. So, and the longer one has 3 bolt holes, and the shorter one has 2. So I discarded the shorter one. I used the bigger one. That's got 3 holes in it. But on the other side, I can put that shorter one back on if I ever want to. So I drilled holes for it. So I got 3 holes for one of the anchor rollers, and I got 2 holes for the other one. That's a total of 5 3/8 bolts going through that plate, through the fiberglass. And then there's 2 cleats that were there, and I mounted them, took them off the boat and mounted them up on top of the plate. And they each have 2 holes. So that's how I get to, I guess it's 9 holes, not 11. So that plate is bolted down with 9 bolts, and I put aluminum backing plates down underneath so it didn't damage the fiberglass, so I could tighten it up pretty tight. So the plate is a mount for the trolling motor. It's a storage location for 2 anchors, and it also sticks out a little further out on the boat, so I was actually able to get that anchor roller further out, which worked better with my bigger anchor. So that was a major modification. That ended up costing me probably $300. I bought the steel. I had it sheared to the sizes. I made a mock-up out of wood first, and so then I was able to give them templates for the steel. So basically, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of steel. The horizontal shelf for the motor, the vertical upright chunk of steel that moves the shelf down. So it's like a L-shaped. My camera just died again. So let's just work on that. That usually means it's actually off. So there, it's back on. So I don't have this camera exactly the way I want it yet. I'm probably going to have to get some support from the company. No wind. So I don't know about sailing today. We'll see. Okay, back on. Alright, so and then the triangle piece on top is the fourth, and then I put a angled brace down at an angle from the vertical to the shelf where the motor's on. I put an angled brace, just a piece of 1 by 1/4 inch strap of steel, and then I welded it all up and took it to a place to get galvanized. So the galvanizing, I think there was about $200 worth of steel. So that's a bot from Kick. So I got to get it to stop repeating all this information, and I got to get that menu to stop coming out. Every day I make this a little better. Okay, I got to bring my normally, when the wind is blowing harder, I'll make a long right-hand turn because I don't want my line getting tangled in the motor. But today, I think I'm just gonna. It's almost like the wind is shifted coming from the north. What's up with that? So I'm just going to make a left-hand corner today. Huh. Now, the wind was coming out of the south, which is from our starboard side. And so normally what I do is I come over here and I put the sail up and I sail downwind. But it seems like the wind has shifted and it's now coming out of the north. Well, that's okay. That just means I've got to troll. I'll troll once I decide which way the wind stops rotating on us. And I'll sail back to I'll be able to sail back to the marina. Okay. to 20 feet. Okay. So that's my nose cone mod story. I've already gone through the streaming gear. So I'll just start pointing out. Let's talk about the solar arch and the solar panels. So this bimini came with the boat, and it leaks. I put some of that sealant stuff on it, and it didn't leak for a while, and now I just noticed the other day I forgot to cover up my instruments, and I was home, and it started raining up here, and this thing leaked like a sieve. Everything was wet. I think it's designed to get wet, but I still don't like it getting wet, especially with connections in the back of the sharp pliers. So this bimini, I'm probably going to get rid of it and get a new one somewhere along someday here. So I designed and built this solar arch. So these 4 vertical stainless steel poles here go up and over the top and down. Now I bought that. In fact, I bought it from Ocean South, and it's made in China, but it's actually really pretty good. I was able to cut it to length. When you buy it, it's a lot taller and it's a lot wider, because my boat is smaller than a lot of boats. So I had to narrow it, and I had to shorten it for height. And so I did that, but I needed a way to mount it, and I actually wanted it to be wider than what these gunnels are. And so to accomplish that, I got this 1-inch plastic plate, basically, and I cut it to go around the cleat and go around the track there. And I also wanted to mount some winches here in the cockpit so that I can sail while sitting here single-handedly. So my jib sheets come back from the jib sail, they go back, and I wrap them around these winches. Now the wind is picking up, but it is definitely coming out of the north now. I gotta turn this trolling motor a little bit. Okay. So it was, there's some, I guess, fairly complex geometry in this, where you've got to end up with these in the right place, and because it's angled this way, plus it's angled that way. If you needed this thing to be 2 inches narrower, I guess you could cut 2 inches and it would come in, but if you needed it to be, those feet to be a certain distance out, you've got to have it at a certain height in order to get that distance down on the bottom. So anyway, I got it, I figured it out, and I cut it to fit, and I got it mounted. And so, again, trying to do 2 things to get some synergy. I needed to mount the winches, and I needed to mount the arch. So I got this plastic to mount the arch, but I sandwiched the plastic with longer bolts to mount the winch. So this little 2-inch hole here is how you get to the bolts to mount the winch. So basically the winch is holding up, or holding the solar arch. And I even had 2 more holes drilled here, but I couldn't get to them with this 2-inch hole. And I drilled that hole with a hole saw. And you can buy these plastic covers from the parts company that serves this boat, this product. And but they didn't have any 3-inch, so I couldn't reach the bolts, so I just left it. I didn't use them, and apparently I didn't need them anyway. Well, this is rust. I drilled something one day, and I didn't clean up very good, and I ended up with some rust stains. Maybe I can still get those out somehow. Anybody in chat? Nope. So then, because this winch up here and that aluminum pole coming back, I've got one on each side. Test. I didn't have my mic on. Dang it. Ooh, it's going to rain. That's what's happening. I think we're going to start heading in. Yep, I think we are. That's why the wind is coming out of the north all of a sudden. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to start up the big motor, and we're going to start heading back. I didn't even look at the weather this morning. Okay, let's stow it. Stowing the trolling motor. Lines look okay. There we go. Stow it away. Holy shit. Wow. I might have a fish, actually. No, I don't. Okay, that one's in. get wet, checkers. Okay, come on. get around this peninsula here. I'm actually freezing. Wow. If I can just get on the other side of past this peninsula here, I'll be on the lee side of the lake. It'll be a lot better. Can you believe how far that boat lists over just from the wind hitting with no sails up? Freaking unbelievable. I'm not the only dumbass out here. I didn't even check the weather this morning. What a goof. Trying to head a little bit into the wind, not directly sideways to it, but I'm also trying to get to the lee side of the lake. That'll calm it down big time. But I sure as hell ain't gonna dock in this. I don't know what cameras are on right now. Let's see. It just looks like a squall, so I don't think it's going to last too long. That's better. Wow. You okay, Checkers? Whew, that deserves a drink of coffee. Plus, I'm cold. Still got a camera on my head. Whew. That was something else. Huh. That American flag must have went way up. Because it wasn't there a minute ago. I couldn't see it. It was up above the bimini. I suppose the line is at a little bit of an angle, so it would walk its way up in a strong wind. Oh, that was fun. Well, not that much fun, but something good to experience. It. That wind shredded my AGLCA flag up front. So my waterproof top hopefully worked. I was leaned over far enough that I could have almost lost that camera. Boy, am I glad I had the ballast in. I would not have wanted to, I would have had to turn that boat up into the wind and just drive it into the wind if I didn't have the ballast in. Or it would have rolled it right over. Woohoo! So let's open that up. Get that camera there. Wow, that was something. So we're over on the lee side now. That'll teach me to not check the weather. Actually, I'm glad I experienced that. I want to go back and look at what the wind speeds were. I wouldn't want to be in much stronger wind than that. That had to be 30 miles an hour, at least. Maybe more. No fish, but that's okay, because we got plenty of fish in the fridge. Wow. See, there's a little boat landing right there. It's pretty cool. People just store their boats there. I wonder if you have to pay to go to that one or what. Another bot. Tired of bots. How about if you teach me how to block bots? You okay, Checkers? That was really something, wasn't it? Did it scare you? Okay. Now I'll take this over here. Let's get reorganized. Woo! Okay. I got a little bit of just a one drip right there, another one there. That's not bad. Might be a little hard to dock, but not bad. It's probably going to blow me to the side of the boat. I don't want dock, but I don't want to be on. Where's my trolling motor? Stowed, right? Yeah. Woohoo! Now, you know, that's probably the strongest winds I've been in a boat. And maybe that's not that bad. I mean, I know people out at sea with boats designed for it. You know, they run into wind like that twice a week probably. And then they run into much higher wind. But so I'm anxious to see what the wind speed was. If there's anybody in chat, tell me what the wind speed was on Lake Conroe half hour ago. So this isn't bad. I can dock in this, but every time one of those gusts come up, that would make it a little rough. Okay. This could be a shit show. I think I'm going to give it a little more time. I'm just going to make a loop here, a circle. That's what these guys are doing too. They're waiting for the wind to die down a little bit to dock. Nice sunny skies coming our way. Wow. That was pretty incredible. What? More rain? Holy shit. Oh wow, I'm getting wet. No sense having a cover if you're not going to have it down in the rain. Maybe this isn't going to die down. It's actually picked up quite a bit. Hello? Hello?
I want to cry.
Why?
My computer will not turn on. I've tried changing cords. I've tried everything I possibly can think of. It will not turn on.
Which one?
Which one? My work one.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and the 3 critical files that I had to get done, I could have probably got 2 of the 3 done, and I would have been happy. And they're all on my freaking desktop.
Oh shit.
And this computer doesn't have a way to take a battery. I thought I'll even go as far as taking the battery out and re-putting it back in. I got no signal whatsoever in this fucking puppy. It was fine last night.
Huh.
I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. I just got to wait. Our computer guy's got to come in and try something to restore it. Try something.
Well, you should be able to take the hard drive out and get the data.
Yeah, there's no way to do it on this. This is like a weird...
No, I said hard drive, not battery.
Oh, right. I think it requires taking off the screw, you know what I mean? He should be able to get it out. This has to be a battery issue, like the battery died or something. I don't know, though. Oh, maybe the buttons broke? I have no idea. But I feel sort of... I just sent an email to our IT guy, and I told him, I said, I have a critical issue. My computer won't turn on. I've got 3 files on my desktop that are critical to the company that I gotta get out, and I've got a dead computer. That should be enough to get it. And I asked him to come in tomorrow and take a look at. I mean, there's nothing else I can do. I literally got nothing. I can log into my files, but I can't without having desktop files. You're sort of screwed, Because I'm trying to merge different files right now. I'm working with downloads and stuff, so I've been working on the files together, and I'm just like, I just want to, oh, Lord have mercy. Let's see what he said. Although, sorry. Oh, sure, I'll stop by tomorrow. Oh, perfect. I'm going to tell him the sooner, the better. Come out and eat. Because I can't, there's nothing really I can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think what I'll do is I will just take my personal laptop there. There's nothing on this. It's like a dead shell.
Yeah. I don't know.
What's that?
I'm not sure. Probably.
I'm not really sure, but I'll just take it as a possible backup because I don't know if he's got a computer. Because, you know, most of what we got is I'm not really sure.
I'm going to have to dock here in high winds, so I'm going to have to shut the phone off.
No worries.
In a few minutes.
Okay.
I got stuck out in a huge storm.
Really?
Yeah, I was, and I didn't check the weather this morning.
It's been a storm. It's like sunny skies here.
Oh man, it came up fast, and I'm really anxious to see what the wind speed was. I mean, it was tilting, listing my boat over, like without sails up. I mean, I bet it was 30 to 40 mile an hour winds. But I got to put the phone down, so.
Yeah, okay.
Bye.
Hang up. All right, bye.
I'm not going to be able to do that. I wasn't quite ready, but also another wind gust came up right while I was pulling up to the dock. Excuse me. Lost 2 cameras. Probably the battery's dead on this one. No. Okay. Got that one working. Jesus Christ. There's our checkers cam. it keeps popping up. Wow. I'm gonna have to learn how to dock and windlick this anyway, so let's give it a try and hope I'm not at hitting. I hope I don't have a gust. Lots of people waiting out here, just not wanting to dock either. I'll just start heading in, and if I hit a calm spot, good. If not, I'll just back up again. There's a loon. You fucking piece of shit. Look at that. 2 cameras not working. Why? Okay, what's wrong with this one? Stay. Checker, stay. Stay. No, stay. Stay. Wow. There we go. More. Come on. That wind is really pushing. Come on. Wow. Whew. Stay. Checker, stay. Good boy. Whew. I'm going to tie this one over here. Wow. We made it, buddy. Stay. Okay. Not much talking on this stream. Whew. Oh, that was something. Okay. Checkers, I got to get your towel. Let me get the towel for you. Whew. Hold on. Okay. This will go up here. Then this, we're going to put across there. Kick the checkers in. And I'll get his towel. Whew. Soaking wet. Okay. Okay. There you go. Okay, stay there. Good boy. Well, we didn't get too much water inside the boat. Pretty dry. Good boy. Let me wipe you off. Dry you up a little bit. Good boy. Good boy. You don't like your feet dried, do you? Good boy. There you go. Whew. Okay. So the stream box got a little bit wet. And okay. So let's start shutting down. Turn that off. Turn this off. That off. Okay, take this. Put that in there. And then put this and this over here. Now, I don't know about this. Okay, that's good. Now we'll unplug this guy, put him in there. We'll unplug this one for the live scope. Then we'll take Checker's water in. Okay, now we're getting water in the boat. This and this go here. This goes up here. Come on. Wow. Where'd that go? Here it is. Put the sock up in the corner. Wow, okay. Oh, I know, I gotta go back out. Dang it. Okay. Wind is coming out of the north, so it's blowing the water right in here. Whew. Okay. What's still on? Sorry about that if anybody's watching. That's ridiculous. Goddamn menu keeps popping up. Among other problems. Look at that shit. Okay. Alright, so let's dry a few things off here. Wow. This goes back here. I'm going to take these socks off because they are wet. Super wet. Okay. And then we don't need this anymore. Wow. Okay, that was a shit show. Oh, checkers, come on. Come here. No, don't lay back there. Well, might as well.